to the Macro Chat Live Show, and I just yelled in AD's ear. I'm so happy to see you guys. It's just with little of me today, but I got a very packed show waiting for you. So we are going to jam. But of course, I always want to say hello. So Debbie, yay! Debbie had said that she's been watching the show, but she hadn't been able to chat with us. So I'm so excited. When I look over here, I'm looking at the chat. I see Catherine's here and Stacy's here. I'm so happy to see you guys. It's so awesome to be able to chat with you for sure. Oh, Pat's here. Hi, Pat. How you doing? And then, okay, who is Mukatila Sailor? I might know you. I'm Mukatila Sailor. Let me know who you are. All you newbies that come in, please let us know where you're from, and we will definitely chat it up. I'm so excited because, again, we are talking about light, and this show is an hour show talking about macro, micro, and close-up photography. Now, I have a 30-second delay, but we have 4 videos for you. The first 3 are really, really short, but at least I could do is look over to the chat, and if you guys have questions, I will answer them live for you, and definitely want to, chat it up. That's what it's for. This is all about you guys that like to get up close and personal with your subject. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in because I say it's a very packed show. We're going to take a real quick video to talk about our sponsor. I am full of light. It's all about the light, AD. We just did the light. That was awesome. Oh, hi, it's Matthew. Nice to see you, Matthew. Oh my gosh, nice to have you here, Matthew. I didn't even realize it. I'm sure I have to get used to the names. But so what I want to say is, so this is every other week. The next show is going to be on the 8th. And it's going to be with Alex Wild, and it's going to be a premiere because AD is going to be gone for the whole month of August. Basically, he's going to be gone. He has a couple things going on. So we're doing a premiere. We're shooting it on Tuesday. I'm going to go into the Facebook group, and I'm going to ask you to ask questions. I will give you guys the link to Alex. Oh, my gosh. Another amazing photographer. Wait till you see him. He has his PhD. Man, I'm going to talk about bugs. This guy makes beautiful, sharp images. He's really, really all over the place, museums and all kinds of stuff. And he's willing to chat with you guys. I'm so excited. And then remember, any of you that did not see the last show, remember we had Harold Davis, and he was absolutely wonderful. We have finalized some of his, all we have to do left on his video is just like a little thumbnail. So ask questions there. If you have questions for Harold, he was so amazing to have in the last show. So we will talk about light, and I'm going to actually, we're going to go ahead and go outside and pay attention to light with this video, and we'll come right back to me. We're going to take a look at light. So let's take a walk in my garden and just look how light hits. Side lighting. Lighting that's right on top of the flower. Now let's look at this lighting. You can see that this level is the light's hitting it, and it's kind of giving it a flat look. But then if I go over here and see the dimensions and the shadows that are happening here, that changes the look of what we're seeing. How about shade? It's all in shade right there. There's not very much when it comes to shadow. So shadow actually is a huge part of lighting. And people tend to forget about that. This is what the macro show is about, for us to chat and to talk about, there's my, to chat about macro photography and getting up close to your subject. Now I'm on my cell phone, I know. Okay, let's go over here. These flowers are in the shadows and the shade. There's a fly on there. A little bit of wind. And then over here, we've got them real bright in the sun. Look at the shadows hitting against the green. It's just a different feel. It's so strong. Here's the same flower in the shade. The sun. It's up to you to figure out what you want and how to express what the light will do to your subject. So you may want something soft with no light, and you may want something really dramatic with light. But the main thing is light gives it dimension, shade makes it soft and flat. We could play with backlighting, have a different feel. Or here's some backlighting of the leaves, that's pretty cool. Getting up close. Or we just don't want that at all, we just want a little side light. Side light definitely shows more dimension than light that's on top of your subject. So the whole take of this, I actually got on cue. Usually I'm always like, oh, we're back. The whole take of this is really to pay attention to your shadows depending on what you want. So do you want it more of a 3D feel, or do you want it more of a soft feel? And the side lighting really does show a lot of more texture. So if you're into the texture thing, you need a side light. If you're more into the soft look, then you need to add light on in the front. So that's what that little short thing with my video, with my camera, was all about, to really just sit back. And I'd like you guys to do this. This chat show is about just going ahead and playing and trying new things. We have 3 great images in the critique section where I'm going to talk about light. So I want to thank all them. We will see that soon. But in the next one, we're going to talk a little bit more about light, but using an external light to help things. And I'm going to talk a little bit more after what I meant by open-minded light situation. So let's get on to video 2. It's really short. We're looking at natural light, but it's super windy. I might have to put a flash on, even though I wanted to focus on natural light. Now, when you're outdoors and you want natural light, but the wind's going, you have to pop a flash. You can do it, and you can do it several ways. You can pop a flash to the side of the subject or straight on top, like I'm doing here. Working with your lighting conditions and not getting frustrated because it's not the light that you want will really help your creativity. Open the mind to light. All right, so the members probably noticed or remember that short little video. That actually was a very long video, but I wanted to explain to you guys that are a little nervous about Flash. I get it. Flash can be intimidating when you're first using it, but when I say open-minded to your lighting situation, you're not always going to have the perfect light that you want. I mean, I think that's what photography is, full of puzzles, right? And sometimes it just doesn't work the way you would like it to work. So do your best. If you have a flash, try it. Try to use flash and play with your flash and use it, to go straight in to stop the light, or, to stop the actual movement, or to use it to add shadows that are really, really deep. And you're going to see an image today that he did this, which is really, really cool. But I just wanted to express that lighting is really the main component that we use in our photography. And so just keep playing and keep playing. You're going to see a video next, which is my first workshop. And and I give all of the members that watch this workshop, I wish I could hug every single one of you, because they stuck with me from my first workshop. And I look at it now compared to the workshops that I do now, and I'm thinking, wow, that's not the greatest. The information's really cool, but it's not the greatest. But let's go ahead and watch it, and then I'll explain a little bit more about that. There. And you're using today. It's all. Hey guys, can you hear me okay? I have a lot going on here. Oh, this is great. Hello. Hi, Kim. You made it. Awesome. Julie, I see that you're here. Yeah, totally excited. You ready to play, you guys? I want to go through a couple things. So let me look at my notes, because I never want to mess anything up. Last time we were chatting, Julie had said, how do I get my lights to go warmer? Some of you might want to be cooler depending on what you're shooting. So these, I didn't have the gels at the time. So these are called gels. And you can see, like, They are transparent. The reason why strobes and monolights are easier is that you can position your lights, and within that light, you can make it more intense or less intense. Whereas a continuous light, you need to add, say, this light compared to this light if you want more lighting. One of the reasons why you want to cross the lights for this stuff is because you want to see, you can see the Joshua tree really nicely. You know, people with portraits and stuff, they don't want side lights because it shows all their wrinkles and everything. But when you're doing coins and shiny stuff like that, of course, you don't want to just put the light right into the your subject, because you're going to get flare coming back, because the light's going to bounce in, come back. Also, you won't be able to see all. Look at how beautiful that Joshua tree is. But you can see I have the one light because one side of the coin has shadows. Let me go ahead and put on the other light. Let's go over there. And I mean, you're using a tint also because you don't, just like pearls, you don't want to be bouncing. The light needs to be all over the place. It can't just go straight into these reflective objects. It's just going to show everything. So let's go ahead and put the other light on. I don't know if you noticed, but watch. Went this way. You see the shadow? Now I'm moving it off and the shadow's kind of going away. So let's go back farther. See the shadow? There's another new shadow. So you just start maneuvering until you really like what you see. I like this. I'm going to actually take a shot. And there it is. I love it. Isn't that pretty? What's so awesome is I actually did that for Matthew, who's here. This was when we first started the membership program, and he wanted to learn how to photograph he has a bunch of coins, and the hubby has a bunch of coins, so it was perfect. So I do want to talk about two things. First, that was a horrible video, but if I never would have done that, I wouldn't get to the point of now my workshops. I kind of understand what I need to do, just like this show. When I first started the show, oh my gosh, it was a mess, and it still is a live show, so it's not perfect, and I don't want it to be perfect. I want you to understand that I am really here live. AD is in the background, but we are pushing our comfort zone, and I want you to push with light. So let's talk about one of the most difficult things to do, and that's photographing using light with reflective objects. And so one of the things that I learned in college was to cross your light source. And if you do that and you still have really, really shiny stuff, this is a small little polarizer that goes on my 100 millimeter. So I didn't have to use it when we were doing that shoot. I had the tent, and it really made everything soft, and it worked well. But sometimes if you're outdoors, you may have a shiny bug or a shiny flower, something very, very shiny. Try the polarizer. And of course, you're going to have to add more light to your exposure. But another thing too, now I have the circle, right? But they have the twin lights. And honestly, the twin lights are really good for you macro photographers to cross polarize. So you just put your twin light, each side, and you'll cross it. You're going to have to play. You'll see in your viewfinder when all of that the reflective areas start disappearing, and then you can mathematically figure it all out. I'm not that type of person. I'm an artsy person. So I just basically wait until my lights are on the subject and there is no refraction going and all the stuff bouncing and the reflective things all over the place, and you'll be able to see it. But another reason why it's really cool that the way I crossed it was on the side is because I wanted to have, like I said in the video, I wanted you guys to be able to see the texture and everything. So that is something that we did with the coins. And if you have any questions, obviously just please ask them in the chat right now. I can answer questions on this kind of stuff. And then also, you know, using this is another thing that you can use too. And I will also add a snoot to this. So the snoot and this, let's see, so you could see it. So when you're getting in really close, sometimes you really need to get into the shadows of something that has a lot of depth. So if you have a lot of depth and you're just not getting those shadows, then you add something like this. And they do make, if you're not liking the way the temperature looks, because color also has temperature, then they do make gels that go on top of these. They make gels that go on top of these. So you can play with this kind of stuff when you're outdoors and you want to make it nice and warm or nice and cool or whatever you want to do is fine. But I do want you guys to try and play and really work with cross polarization. It really works really well. And we're going to get a little bit more details when we get into the critique section, which I want you guys to know that I want to thank Kimberly, Brian, and Brian. They shared some really perfect images for this show, and it's all about light, which is really cool. So if you would like to, you know, get your images, you know, have some feedback on your images, you can join our macro chat live show. I mean, a Facebook group, and it's always, the link is down below. If you're not into Facebook, that's okay. You can go to sullivanjphotography.com and you can go to .com macro live is here. And you can ask questions and send, you know, your images. I usually take about 2 or 3, no more than 3 on a show, because it's not even like really detailed feedback, but it's feedback for you and for others that may have the same kind of issues that you have questions about. So with that said, let me see, is there anything else that I want to bring up? Let me check the chat real quick and see if you have any questions. Can you put the link for the gels for the ring flash? Sure. So we'll go ahead and do that, Deborah, and I will make sure to get it to you now when we get into the equipment section, because I have a longer video, so I should be able to find it then. And if not, then I will do it right after the show and I'll put it underneath the show notes. So that's a great question. Okay, let's see. So I think what we could do now is we can go ahead and start with critique time. Oh, share the screen, share the screen. That was great. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I'm all, la. Okay. I know, I'm never ready. This is the first time I was ready. This is so funny. First time in months when we decided to change it up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to talk about Kimberly and her image here. She goes, here's a photo requested from Facebook. She's on the professional macro Facebook group. That's another Facebook group that I have, which is really, really cool. You guys should join that also, as well as a few others with the same shoot. The data is she used an ISO 2500. She used a 100 millimeter 7.1 f-stop, and her shutter speed was 1/60th of a second. Her main goal as a photographer is centered on raising awareness for environmental conservation efforts and photographing endangered plants and animals. kudos to you, Kimberly. I love that. Very, very cool. Very happy to read that. So she gave me, actually, I think this is the one that you initially set up, and then she gave me two others, and I love it. I'm putting all three on here. And this is the reason why I wanted to put all three in here, is because when I ask you what your goal is, that is what helps me understand where you're going with your work. So as much as I think, love this right here, look at how beautiful this is. We'll get up close so you can see. Look at the lighting. I love the lighting on the back side. Is very, very pretty, very elegant. You could still see, you could see the hairs on here. Really, really pretty. But because of her raising awareness, the front focus, I would not leave that in the front. So let me go to the other one that she has. Hold on one second. And let's see. Oh, let's go over to this one. I'll show you the one that I think she should use third. But this one right here is another beautiful one. And I love how it's a little dark. I actually like the lighting on the second one. See this one right here? I love the lighting that you've gotten here. There's a couple places that are really, real bright, but I don't care. It looks really good. It's pretty. And it has a good clarity to pull me in. So I love that back end. And I like this one too. This is really cool. The only thing that for this one, the reason why I would be careful with this lighting is because it's drawing my eyes to that location only. I mean, I do go there first and then I look around. And you are saying that you want to raise awareness of the environment. So this could be a fine art, but that's not where we're talking here. I mean, it still could be fine art, so don't get me wrong. But this one I feel is more successful. Let me get over here. And the reason why I feel this is more successful is because I think that showing this up in front in our face and blowing this up really big is very, very cool. I'm excited. It's up close to me, and then it gradually moves away on the frame. So I'm very happy to see this. And to me, I would even add just a little bit more because of I'm going to crop just a little bit, okay? And it's because of your statement. Okay, here we go. And the reason why I took that top part off is because this is the awareness of environment, right? So here is this beautiful fern. It has a broken little twirl thing. I don't know what they're called, but this is over here, not, kind of tweaked, and it's going into life in here. And you could see, it's really hard when you're on your laptop or you're on, the screen, but I'm thinking printing. I always think about printing. So when I see this and it's printed, for me, this is the environment. It's showing, be careful, and also be aware that there's new growth. Let me stop moving this so you can see how pretty that is. How cool is that? I just love it. I mean, of course, I'm getting in really close because I really love to get in close. But, I think this is a successful image. I do see that you have blackened this. So let me try one thing, because if you were to print, I want to make sure you're okay. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, it's good. Okay. I just want to, sometimes your blacks you'll be okay on printing this, because you want to make sure sometimes the blacks will get funky, but it looks great. Let me see something real quick. Yeah. I might just add a little bit more darkness to it, but I just think it's nice. I think you did a great job, and keep it up. It's a really cool, to really give awareness to the environment, especially, since we have so many problems. So thank you so much, Kimberly. And I think it's a beautiful piece of work. And I think all of them. This one right here, I probably would have been like, whoa, if we would have flipped it around and had the focus on the reverse, but that's just because of the environment. I think this is a really cool image too. So anyways, kudos to you, and thank you for sharing that. We're going to go ahead to Brian now. And of course, if you have questions, I see, Pat, that you have a question. I'll come back to it after the critique. So let's go ahead and go to Brian now. So Brian, thank you, Brian, for sending the second image, because I got his first image and it was like a 95 by 95 pixel. I was like, oh man, I can't even see it. Now look at this. Much better, Brian. Much better. So much happier. And just so you guys all know, I do not steal your images. It's just for the show, and I totally delete them right after I'm done with the show. So just want to let you know, all's good. So in his goal, he says his goal was to test a homemade flash system on some living, moving insects. In this shot, I noticed the skipper butterfly really liking the sunflower, so I figured I would grab a shot trying to show the scale of the butterfly against the sunflower. It was shot in full sun, so I tried to use the flash to compensate for the shadows. He shot this with his Canon 7D Mark II, and he has a 100 millimeter 2.8 macro lens, IS-USM, and he used the f-stop f20 at ISO 400, and he had it at 1/100th of a second. He also had a 25 millimeter Kenko, I don't know if I'm saying it right, extension tube, and his flash was a Canon 480EX flash, and he set it to 1:1. So I'm sure that what you did was probably, tell me if I'm right, but I'm sure you probably took the flash off of the camera to get the shot. And the reason why is because when we talk about light, we talk about shadows. And so I always, whenever I'm really focusing on my light situation, whatever it is, I'm always looking at the shadows too. That is like a main thing. And matter of fact, it was so funny because, and then another thing, a tip, if you're ever looking at someone else's work, and you want to know what kind of light they've used or anything like that, you can always try to see if you can grab it. Macro is a little bit harder, but you'll be able to look at the refractive areas. And this one, it looks, you can't do it here, but sometimes you can really hone in, like the pearls that you had seen before. I could tell that the photographer had used one light that was right on top and really used a soft area, because the member had asked, she wanted to have her pearls kind of have that similar feel. So that's why that lighting situation for the pearls was used differently. So look at the lighting, see if you could see where, the shadows are, and you'll be able to pay attention on the lighting sources that other people have. So this one right here, you've successfully, Brian, have worked the image, and you definitely have removed the dark shadows. And you could look at how pretty this is. It's really, really nice. Since you've successfully done what you wanted to do, I want to give you a suggestion. So I don't know if you've done this already, but as you're shooting, I'm assuming that you had something like this, because this is kind of how the lens, this is kind of how the flash is, and that you were pushing down or holding it or having some mechanism that was going down onto the actual moth. And so I think that once you get what you like, I would love for you, or it's a butterfly, sorry, it's a butterfly. So once you get what you like, then try to maybe do a little bit of side lighting just to play, to get more detail in this area and a little bit more detail. Because see, here's the shadows. See how the shadows hitting, we're getting details. And you might have already done this. I think this is successful. All I'm doing is just asking, because we're talking about light, is just to play with it even more, and maybe do a little bouncing off, the side, and just see how things look, especially if the butterfly is being really happy and hanging out, and just letting, being a portrait butterfly there. So you could play, doing that with the sun and then playing with your light and just maneuvering it to see if you could get the flat look and get rid of the shadows, and then move it off to the side and see what you could do about, adding some more texture in here just for fun. So that's just a suggestion. But I think you're successful with that. If you have any other questions with it, ask me down below. If you want any more feedback, both of you, that I've talked about, we're going to talk about Brian's next. And I will answer the questions for you for sure, okay? So the next one we're going to talk about is Brian, and this one has another awesome light. It's all about light, so I'm very excited about this one too. It's so perfect, and this one really is. I was like, wow, this one is a hard one, and it's good to talk about this because people want to photograph these things up close. So let's see what Brian says. Brian says, when times are dark and scary, a good mama calls her children to her side. This crystal mama duck has called her children and they have answered. How cute is that? I love it. So let's see. As always, shot in our garden temple somewhere in the Philippines. He used a Sony Alpha 68 Tamron 90 millimeter macro lens. His ISO was at 100. His shutter speed was at 6 seconds, and he was obviously on a tripod. He was at f/16, and his exposure was manual. He used a single spotlight plus used ambient and tethered in live view in Capture One Sony Pro. Every now and again, my ladybug buys me some glass. Sometimes it's inexpensive with lots of bubbles and imperfections. Sometimes it's high quality. I wanted to highlight the cut glass while minimalizing the flares. I also wanted to show the connection between parents and children. He says his studio is a small table in our small one-room house. The black lake is one of my shirts. Lighting is a small desk lamp. There was a fair bit of both positioning and lighting adjustments needed to reduce the flares to a minimum. Live tethering in Capture One Sony Pro 12.3 03 made it a lot less frustrating, which I can imagine. Tethering is amazing. The brown reflections were created by bouncing the light off of our bamboo bookshelf onto the ducks. The other reflections, the other reflections come from what was and still is in the bookshelf. So what I like about using the bamboo is it kind of brings the colors of the duck, which is really, really cool. So that I like that you use the bamboo and tried something different to bring in colors like if it was a real duck. I might have to let one of my dogs out. Louie, sorry guys. We always have a dog problem here, right, everyone? So this time I have Louie in my daughter's dog in here. So what I wanted to suggest with this one is, because this is just kind of like the reflective, this is definitely an issue. Okay, I'm going to have to let Louie out. Sorry, guys. Come on, Louie. Okay, go out. Oh, boy. My neighbors are having gardening done, and so I'm sure he's like not happy because he's very protective. Okay, so let's get back onto this. So this is definitely one of the issues of actually making sure that you spread the light, spread it out, because you're going to have all of this, the refractions and stuff. And what I think you've done a great job. I think the only thing that I would do here, Brian, is add a little bit more light to this back area. So see, See these little areas in here? I mean, you could fix that yourself. It's not like you have tons of white problems. You know, like I would clean this up in here, but you could see this, the eyes. It looks good. I personally would just add a little bit more light and try to spread the light. So this way you can have it softly move off. But I think you've done a pretty, you've done, you know, it, I could see, look at how beautiful it is. I would just clean it up a little bit, but I really do like the colors to it, what you've done. And using, you know, you could try to do the, you could try to bounce the lights and see what happens, you know, but that would be using two lights. So maybe you could play with that and maybe, you know, throwing a polarizer on your lens, try that and let me know if it worked or not. I'd love to find out how it went with you if you have those. If not, then what I would do is just maybe try a little light painting towards the back. You know, play with this a little bit more. You have it. I think it's really nice. I like the way you set it up. It's really, really cute. I would just add a little bit more light because you can, it's hard to see this one in the back and this, and it is a difficult situation for you to play with this. And that kudos to all three of you for playing with light. I think, you know, you guys done a great job, and this is something that all three of you, you know, have shared the situations that we get into and how we can really fix the situation of what we're trying to get. So because you said, you know, that you really wanted to highlight the cut glass, I think you've done a wonderful job. Okay, let's see. Let's see. All right, let me look at the questions now. So Pat, is your snoot universal or specific to our flash? No, you know what? This is universal. Let me share with you. And this is great. You still have to take your flash off of the camera, but at least you don't have to buy a macro, you know, when you want to get in close. I'm trying to show you in here. So this right here just comes off. You have to put this on, and it just fits, and it fits around. It's universal, and I'll give you the link to it. And see this Velcro right here? The Velcro connects to the Velcro in here, and then you just tighten it with this baby right here. Try to open it, but anyways, you just tighten it with the other Velcro around. And I gotta get Coco sitting on my lap. Say hi, Coco. Coco. She's making me hot because it's like we're having a heat wave over here. Okay, there we go. So yes, that is, I'll go ahead. It's not expensive at all. I think I only paid like 10 bucks, 15 bucks for this. It's all, oh, and this even has, see, look, this one comes with grids. And I think it came with several grids, and some of them come with not only the grids, but they come up with little baby gels so you could change the color. So if you want it nice and warm, you could have that too. So that is a real cool buy for sure. It's really worth it. So I will definitely put the link down below after the show. Oh, yay, there you go. AD did it for me. So, okay, perfect. And let me see, what else do we have? How would you clean it up? Let's see. So what I would do, okay, so Brian, do you know how to work with layers? And do you know how to do that kind of stuff? Because what you would do is I would personally take maybe a clone stamp over here, and I would reduce, I wouldn't do 100%. And I would gently just brush in just to soften some of that. So, you know, I personally like, it depends. Sometimes I use clone stamp, sometimes I actually use color. But I think with this, you would want some of the texture. So that's what I would do personally. So if you know how to, but I would do it in a layer. So this way you don't, you know, if you don't like it, or if you do too much, you could take the layer and you could change the opacity so it's not so, you just want to kind of take it off a little bit. You don't want to totally get rid of it because you do like, you want to have, see how this is right here? This is nice, but this right here is just pulling your eyes out. So I would try that. If you want, on the next show that I'm by myself, I can show you how to do that for sure. You just let me know, Brian, and I will make a tutorial for the next show. Okay, let me see what else. He has a small house. Move the light as far back as possible. Okay, so if you move the light as far back as possible, the next thing that I would do is take the light and I would cover it with something, just to soften the light so it's not harsh. If you want to do that, I would try that for sure. I usually always make sure, to kind of diffuse it, kind of like the sun, so it's not so hard. So you could try something like this, or get something white and sheer to play with that. That would help for sure. I like to use little tents to play with things. That's why you saw in that one video, I had a tent. That really diffuses and just really makes the light nice and soft. That's why you see a lot of, what is it? Soft boxes. Soft boxes, just like a tent. So, and it's up to you. You could pay cheaper for a tent than a soft box nowadays, and just use your regular lights. But if you're using a real narrow, then it's going to give you narrow, beams. So you got to spread it out, and it'll just softly, fall on it. Let's see. More light on the back would bring up the out of focus. That's okay. That's okay. Do you know how to stack? Should I push you even further, Brian? What you could do is take a picture here and then take a picture and get a little bit more in focus, not perfect focus, maybe 2 shots. And then what you would do is you would bring the 2 shots into layers, and in the layer, you would just go ahead and make a mask, and you would go ahead and open that up in the back. I think that even if you don't want to do that, that's okay. I think adding just a little light. See, the reason why, see how you have dimension here in the foreground and the background, I feel like I'm losing it a little bit. Maybe if it was just a little bit light, then you would feel like it's in a pond. But that's just my suggestion. If you don't like it, you don't have to take any of my suggestions for real. I am not the almighty. I just like to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone. Let's see. Oh, yes. Thank you. Pat saying thank you. All right. Great questions, Brian. And I totally appreciate that. All right. Well, let's see. Wow. Talk about timing is so perfect. All right. AD, are we ready to go to the equipment? Yeah, I'm like, oops, I'm back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Unless I'm not going to totally shut down Lightroom, so if we have any other questions, we can pull it back up, okay, guys? But I have been sharing some equipment with you guys. I figured it's good to do that when, as we're talking about the images. So have I missed any other equipment? I don't think so. Oh, Brian, you might want to play with something like these. These are already soft as it is, and they're pretty cheap, and you can just screw them into any light source. And this is a daylight. I'll put these down below too. This is only 45. This is a 45 watt, but it's 5500K. It's that light. It's the daylight, but it's a nice light. So I'll put that down there too. These aren't very expensive. At least the little ones aren't. Okay, I wanted to share over here to the left here, or over in front of you now, like it's right, left, is Skylum. And I want to talk about Luminar. So Luminar is another amazing program that I love. But what I wanted to share with you is, look, they're talking about macro photography. I love this. So I'm going to put this link down below. What is macro? Blah, blah, blah. But the thing that got me excited about this is if you were to, I'd say maybe about, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, this wouldn't even be on their website. People were not talking about macro photography that much. There was, but not like this, not like really honing in. Check this out. Look at how awesome this is. This is definitely something getting really up close, more than 1-to-1. But I just love this. The different types of macro give you guys ideas of what to play with. I just love having these people like Luminar and Skylum and all them acknowledging macro photography. Yay! I think it's so cool. So thank you. I had to share this. I will share the link again down below so you guys could check it all out, okay? So what we're going to do is let's go back to me, and then we will, a lot of people have asked me to share my post-processing. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. We're going to show you a video, which I really need to get on because the show needs to end because it's a 7-minute video, and then I got to announce the Macro Chat Live, the winners. So we're going to get this rolling. If you want me to share, I went through some things fast, so I want your opinion. Did you like it, or should I really slow down on the post-processing? But let's show you this new technique. Even if you don't have Luminar, you can see me post-processing the image from beginning to end. Today it's all about light, and Luminar means light, right? But I wanted to show you another great product that has really thought about what we want as photographers. So Luminar, if you haven't checked that out, I will put the link down below. But what they've added is a plugin that's called Luminar Flex, and it's just came out, and it's pretty cool because you can use it in Lightroom and in Photoshop. Before, you just had to go straight into Luminar. And after the video, I'll go ahead and share with you real quick their website so you could check it out. It's really, really fun. So this image right here is a stack that I did, and I'm going to play with this, and I have not played with this before, so all I did was stack the image. And now we're going to go into the develop module here. I'll go ahead and play with, I think what I'll do now is just crop, because this is definitely not what I was going for. And let me look and see what I like. And we're going to just do real quick editing. So let's just do a crop. Everything else, the lens correction and all that can't be done because it's a actual stacked image. So I could get all this in focus right in here. So there's two ways to get this into Luminar using Flex. The first way that I always would recommend for you to do is go up here to File, Plugin Extras, and then go into Transfer to Luminar Flex. That's what I would do, because at that point it takes your raw file and you can work in Luminar with a raw file. I'm going to show you Luminar in a second. But because this is a TIFF and I've already stacked the image, then I'm just going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to say edit in, and then I'm going to go over here to Luminar Flex and open up the program. I'll change it to photo RGB, and we will click edit. Okay, so now from Lightroom, I'm actually in a really cool spot, Luminar. And in Luminar, we have all these essentials that you can play with to get ideas. If you want to have sun rays, all these fun little tips and tools that you want to go for, then you should check it out for sure. Another thing that's really cool is you can over here you can use filters that are really, really easy to use. And I like the AIs. See this AI right here? These all do a lot of things that people continually do. It's kind of like a really fast way to post-process. So I'm going to use this because it's something different that other people don't have in their software. And I'm going to go ahead and boost the image so there's a little bit more pop to it. Here is the structure tool, and I'm looking at this right in here, okay? So I like that it's pulling out all of this information here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to push my brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush that in. And as you can see, it only took this information, not the whole frame within the form. No, I always have to joke around, right? That might be a little much, but you could see that I'm getting the details that I want. So let me share with you something. I'm going to go ahead and click done, and I'm going to apply. And it's going to take me right back into Lightroom with these adjustments. So it's popped into Lightroom. This is the before and this is the after, right? And I like it. I think it's pretty. There's a lot of things that I'd like to fix up. So with that said, the thing that's good about this is that you can go into Lightroom and start using mask and doing that kind of fun stuff. But if you have some really hardcore things that you want to fix up, guess what you could do now? You can also, the same thing, you could go and right click. And first what I'll do is I'm gonna pull this in to Photoshop. All right, I'm in Photoshop. Woohoo, I love it. I love Photoshop. Being able to go to Flex. I always do the Command or Control J because I make a copy of the layer. That's just my thing. You don't have to do this. You can normally just do what you want to do, but I'm going to make this a smart filter. So I'm going to convert to a smart filter. Okay, I'm going to go to Filter, and then I'm going to go to Skylum, and I'm going to go to Luminar Flex and let go. And it's going to do the same thing as what we did in Lightroom. We're going to be able to go right into Luminar, which is so cool. And we are here. So if I want, oh, you know what I want to do? I actually don't want to work on this one because I did all the work on the other one. Right, so now we're in, I just want to do a couple things real quick. Oh, so first thing we want to do is take this. We'll see if this will work. We're going to take it, do a Alt Option, and we're going to link it to the layer down below. That's what this baby means right here. So you get a little extra tip right now. But this works great, people, when you need to do some stuff to it and fix things. So let's go ahead and see. Little extra touch is really cool. I'll clean this up a little bit more and it will look the way I want it to look. Yay! Hi, you guys. Me and AD are chatting in the background. So I hope you liked that, real quick behind the scenes with Luminar Flex. I absolutely love it. It's a great tool to plug in, to hang out really with Photoshop is what I really like it for. So now we're going to get into, I told you guys that, we had our membership, we offered a scholarship. And so let me find where Ashley and I, it's really tough. Ashley and I go through everything. We do get a lot of scholarship applications, and I want to thank every single one of you that has applied. I totally appreciate it. I do want you guys to know that this scholarship, okay, so Ashley and I, we got a surprise for you. So I first want to say that my membership program is not a get rich business. It is a business, but it's not a get rich. It's designed to push you creatives out of your comfort zone and to make sure you're accountable for the work that you want to do so you can move forward. So, but we understand too that first we were doing a scholarship for people that maybe couldn't afford it. But my scholarship's only $29 a month. And if you buy it for a year, you get 2 months free. So I'm like, you know what? We changed it up and we decided that we were looking for, that's why I did the video. We were looking for somebody that really, that really wants to work hard. And so we usually just give one scholarship out. But Ashley and I talked about it. And the thing that we felt was it's really hard to pick, because I let members join, do this. So it's hard for me because I know the members, and then I also want an opportunity for somebody else that I know that has been, working, that I pay attention. I pay attention to you guys, even if you don't think that I am. I really, the ones that I see you guys all the time, I pay attention to people, even if you're not in the membership, but I know you, I pay attention. So does Ashley. And we talk about you guys. So we decided this year we're going to we're going to do this from now on. And we had some debate about it because she's more the businesswoman than I am. So but I'm the boss. So I decided at first we were going to do 6 months, and I'm the boss, so I say a year. So we're going to have 2 scholarships we're giving out, and it's going to be like this all the time, and it's going to be a 1-year scholarship. So Ashley, she's just a businesswoman, right? So anyways, we're going to do one scholarship will be available for the membership, people that are already in, and another we'll give a second scholarship. That's going to be it, though. The second scholarship for somebody that's not in the membership so they can have a chance to really focus on their work. So drum roll, we are going to offer the first one to this person that made an amazing video. So she probably already knows that she won it because, oh my God. So she made this video and went through all of the questions that we asked with a fine-tooth comb, and we just absolutely fell in love. We're like, this girl has to have the membership, the year scholarship. So Deborah Stevenson, you win the scholarship for the membership. Okay. All right. So thank you, Debbie. Okay. So now we are going to now talk about the second person. So this person I have seen around. She has been in the Facebook group. She has, paid attention. I know who she is. I know that she will work very hard because that is what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that's going to participate in the membership, that's really going to work hard on their work and move forward. That's what this membership is about. So we're giving this membership to Alicia, and I don't know how to say her last name, though. That's the only thing. Mathes, Maths. And she may not be here because she is a landscape photographer, but she is now, because she has said so much stuff about her scholarship. She wants to share beauty out to the world. She knows that she needs a little bit more accountability. So Alicia, welcome to Adventures of the F-Stop family. Woo! Okay. You're so welcome, and so welcome. So again, next year we will offer it. We always offer this once a year in July for my birthday. I like to give something to people, and that's what we do. We do the scholarship. So congratulations to you both. Okay, so we're going to end it because we're going past our time frame. I just want to thank you all for stopping in. I totally appreciate you guys chatting with me. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. And again, we'll be here for 2 weeks. We're going to have Alex Wild. Oh my gosh, you're going to love him on August 8th. We're taping him on Tuesday, so definitely show up to the premiere. You're going to love it. He's amazing. So if you have any questions, please ask them down below. And I want you always, always to remember that your 1,000 words does make a difference. Cheers, everyone. Bye.